My God, I hate drugs.
I, Rodrigo Roa Duterte,
My adherence to due process and the rule of law is uncompromising.
I will not fall without a fight. I will not go into that good night without nary a whimper.
Oh, gusto ko sana ma-revoke yung PNP.
Sinimiti namin sa Malacanang ang sulat ng aking pagbibitiw mula sa gabinete.
I announce my separation from the United States.
Hello and welcome. I'm Maria Ressa. 2016 is unforgettable. The year traditional power structures around the world are turned upside down. A weaponized internet helps tough-talking populist leaders gain power. Here in the Philippines, a mayor flip-flops his way into Malacanang and changes history. Just like that, a dictator becomes a hero. A vice president is banned from cabinet meetings. The Philippines pivots from the United States to China. And the president's harshest critic becomes a cautionary tale against dissent. All this is taking place against a rising body count in a war on drugs. Duterte, 91% trust rating after taking office. That drops to 72% after 5 months that changed his nation. It began here.
My God, I hate drugs. And I had to kill people because I hate drugs.
Brutally honest, he is who he is. Angry, violent, his words peppered with curses. He does this, he says, for the people.
I would be glad to die for the Filipinos. Ngayong gabi na ninyo ako patayin. Kasi pag ako ang nanalo ng kaupo, talagang papatayin ko kayo. Totoo yan.
His three-part campaign promise is simple and clear.
Corruption must stop. Droga must stop. Criminality must stop.
2016 becomes the most engaged elections in the Philippines, both in the physical and virtual worlds. A divided ruling class falls to the authenticity of Duterte.
I,
Please state your
Rodrigo Roa Duterte,
Preserve
preserve
and defend
and defend the Constitution.
A man of contradictions, he vows to defend the rule of law.
I know the limits of the power and authority of the president. I know what is legal and what is not.
Immediately, the war on drugs begins. As early as 2012, the UN Drug Report says the Philippines has the highest abuse rate in East Asia for shabu. Long ignored, it has visceral support among the poor and middle class. From Davao, Bato, or Ronald De La Rosa hits the national stage with Oplan Tokhang, cops knocking on doors looking for suspected drug pushers and users. After 5 months, more than 900,000 people surrender. But that fear comes from a hefty body count. By December, more than 6,000 people are killed in police and vigilante operations.
ako'y hirap na, but I will never surrender.
Duterte spotlights the collusion between drug dealers, police, and government officials. It begins to unravel. Former Albuera Mayor Rolando Espinosa Sr. surrenders in August, while his son, suspected drug lord Kerwin Espinosa, is arrested in Abu Dhabi in October. A month later, the father is killed in his jail cell by police allegedly serving a search warrant at 4 in the morning. The National Bureau of Investigation says it's a rub-out, but Duterte says he won't let the cops go to jail.
I will not allow these guys to go to prison. Maski na sabihin ng NBI ang murder. Total, under mo yung NBI ko. Under ko rin yan Department of Justice.
One politician questions the body count and links it back to President Duterte's past. Former Justice Secretary, now Senator Laila de Lima. She leads a probe on the killings and brings out Edgar Matobato. He says he killed people for the notorious Davao Death Squad. Its leader, then Mayor Duterte.
1993, binumba ang katedral ng Davao City, yung simbahan. Umorder naman si Mayor Duterte nga masakirin yung mga moske ng mga Muslim.
The reaction is immediate. In the Senate, Duterte's allies removed De Lima as head of the Justice Committee.
Mr. President, I move that the chairmanship of the and members of the Committee on Justice be declared vacant.
At the House of Representatives, Duterte allies investigate De Lima for her alleged involvement in the New Bilibid prison narcotics trade.
Hindi pa ako pinalaki ng tatay ko na maging duwag. Tama na! Hulihin niyo na ako ngayon! Hindi naman talaga gusto niyo! Ikulong niyo na ako ngayon!
De Lima is stripped of her dignity online and in the real world. The House probe becomes a sordid affair with testimonies from prisoners pardoned for their accounts, alleged drug lords, and De Lima's former aide and lover, Ronnie Dayan.
Yung mga panahon na yan, malakas pa yung pag-iibigan nyo ni Secretary o humina na?
Medyo signal number 1 na lang po, sir.
Ano ibig sabihin na signal number 1 na lang?
Mahina-hina na po.
Mahina-hina na.
Yes, sir.
Para lang makita ko yung scale. Ano ba pinakamataas na signal na inabot nyo? Hindi talaga. Dahil sinasabi mo signal number 1 na lang. Hindi ko malaman kung saan. So ano yung pinaka sukdulan o pinakamataas na signal na inabot nyo?
Umabot din po siguro na hanggang mga signal number 5, sir.
Signal number 5.
The attack against her online is relentless, stripping her of dignity and making the charges against her stick through repetition. But De Lima isn't the only target. For the first time in the Philippines, a sophisticated propaganda machinery turns the internet into a weapon. It's death by 1,000 cuts, a chipping away at facts, using half-truths to fabricate an alternate reality. It merges the power of technology, bots, and fake accounts on social media to easily game Facebook's algorithm and manipulate real people. It's unclear if these accounts are working with the government, but they share the same goal: defend Duterte.
Love trumps hate!
A win against the establishment didn't just happen in the Philippines, which was just a few months ahead of the United States. Billionaire Donald Trump's rise to power, like Duterte, hinges on his controversial populist statements.
Donald J. Trump is calling for a total and complete shutdown of Muslims entering the United States. Yes, we're going to have the wall, and yes, Mexico is going to pay for the wall 100%.
And an effective social media campaign that targets government and media institutions.
The election is being rigged by corrupt media, pushing completely false allegations and outright lies in an effort to elect her president.
In a surprise defeat for the power elite, Trump wins the White House over Democrat and establishment voice Hillary Clinton. Before he officially takes his seat, U.S. intelligence agencies reveal Russia allegedly hacked its way to influence elections to favor Trump. It's a year of shifting power around the world. In July, an arbitral tribunal in The Hague junks China's claim to nearly all of the South China Sea or the West Philippine Sea. It came at the wrong time. Duterte announces a pivot from the U.S. to China, shifting the power balance in Asia.
I announce my separation from the United States.
Long-detained former President Gloria Arroyo is released and takes her place as Deputy Speaker of the House. The once formidable Liberal Party is a shadow of its old self, its membership gutted, its stalwarts defeated. There is no opposition. The economy has never been better. 7.1% growth in the third quarter, one of the highest in the world. But the peso is at an 8-year low against the dollar. 30 years after the People Power revolt that drove Ferdinand Marcos out of power, his son comes within 200,000 votes of becoming vice president. Duterte publicly supports Marcos, taking him to China on a state visit.
Bongbong, kung manalo siya sa protest niya, baka bago ang ating Vice Presidente.
He directs the armed forces to bury Ferdinand at the Libingan ng Mga Bayani or Heroes Cemetery. Martial law victims filed several petitions before the Supreme Court to stop it.
The court, with a vote of 9-5,
the Supreme Court votes there's no law preventing a hero's burial. 10 days after the vote, in a secret move, Marcos is buried with military honors, triggering nationwide protests and public criticism from Vice President Leni Robredo. This allegedly is the final straw for Duterte, who tells Vice President Leni Robredo to stop attending cabinet meetings.
I must be free to speak my mind, to protect you and your dreams and your future. As your duly elected Vice President, I will continue to serve with all my strength and passion.
Anger. That was largely our mood in 2016. Justified anger of the marginalized helped elect the first president from Mindanao. Now his supporters are angry at his critics. His critics are angry at his irreverence, his cursing, his off-the-cuff policy statements, his disdain for human rights. But anger rarely builds anything. We at Rappler look to 2017 with hope that our mood meter shifts from red to green, from anger to inspiration, to work together, to listen to each other, to hope together. Change is here. Let's take the best of what we are and together build a better future. I'm Maria Ressa. From all of us at Rappler, Happy New Year.